So today what we're going to study is the area of triangles. We already studied the perimeter of a triangle before, but we're not going to take a look at that anymore. We're just going to make sure we understand how we calculate the area for this. Okay, so we're going to go through 3 examples. Then I'm going to send you off to do your work. So let's first start by recalling the square. When we're calculating the area for a square that looks like this, so this is 2 meters and this is 3 meters. What we did was we took the area of the square to be the length times the width. Then we took those numbers, 3 meters by 2 meters, multiplied them together and got 6 meters squared. Now, that's how we calculated our areas from before, okay? Now, this is the same calculation, but this time we're going to do it for a triangle. All right, so let's say that our triangle was, it still had the same height of 2 meters, but its width is also 3 meters. And it does that. Now, I'm going to tell you that a triangle is literally half a square that would have occupied the same space. So if that was the case, then we start with A is equal to length times width, but then at the very end, we must divide by 2 since it's only half of the information that we had for a square. So in this case, when we do our calculations, we go A is equal to, well, our length was 3, our width was 2, and then we divide by 2. So 3 times 2 divided by 2 gives us an area of 3 meters squared. That's basically it. Now, the only thing that we change when we talk about the equation for the area of a triangle, we go A is equal to base times height divided by 2, where base and height are literally the length and the width of the original rectangle that we started with. All right, so now let's move on to the next problem. All right, here's our example. All right, find the area of the triangle. So here's our triangle. Our triangle is now 5 and say 6. So it's the 2 sides that form the 90-degree angle in the triangle that we used for the base and the height of the triangle. So let's start with our equation. So the area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So we always write that out. And then we go and use the base and the height. And it doesn't really matter which one it is, because I could take this triangle and I could turn it sideways. And now this is my base, which would be 5. And then this would be 6. So it doesn't really matter how you do it. Just use those 2 numbers in place of our H and our B. So it doesn't matter where you put it. So in this case, my base is going to be, I'm going to call it 6, and my height is 5. Then I divide by 2. So punch that in your calculator. 6 times 5 is 30. Then divide by 2, which is 15 units squared. Now, on your last assignment, anytime you calculated areas, you just wrote 15, right? If there's no units, I want you to write the word 15. Units squared. Okay? So this was example 1. And this is going to be our second example of the day. So now, imagine I have a triangle that looks like this. And I have, say, 7 and 3 meters. Okay, so you need to calculate the area. Pause the video, do your own calculation, and then we'll come back. So remember, we started with the equation. A was equal to B times H divided by 2. We always need to write that. Then we go and do our substitutions, or put our numbers in, and then we do our calculations. So now, let's go and do that. So remember, the area of a triangle was half of a square that would have occupied it. So we're going to go base times height divided by 2. So now our base could be 7 or it could be 3. So I'm just going to make it 3 meters by 7 meters and then divide by 2. Punch that in the calculator. You're going to get 21 meters squared divided by 2, which ends up being 10.5 meters squared. And you're done. So we've done our 3 basic examples. We did our first example that explained the problem, and then we did 2 more problems that showed how you could come up with those solutions. Your task right now is to work on the 6 questions that I've given you, and then we're going to work on the next topic of the day.